Welcome to the Drummers Debate, episode 4. And today we have Josh Salant and Joe Riley.
Hello.
Today's topic is cheap gear versus expensive gear.
Ooh.
Josh, what do you think if I'm a new drummer and I'm looking for, let's say, a drum set, specifically a drum set. Now, I have a $300 groove percussion kit, but right next to it, there's like a $2,000 Ludwig. How are you trying to pitch this to this customer? Like, what should I do if I'm looking for that drum set and I want to buy a drum set and I'm beginning fresh and I don't have any experience? What am I buying?
You know, I think it really comes down to budget. But I used to work in music retail, and even with more affordable kits, if you change the heads and you tune it right, you can make even a really inexpensive drum set sound pretty good, especially for somebody who's a beginner who doesn't have the super sensitive ear, But of course, when you have a really nice kit with really nice wood, it helps. I think it helps. Maybe not as much as the price tag says, but it helps.
What do you think, Joe?
Well, it also depends, like, if you're starting out, like, what are you trying to do? Because I also worked in music retail. We worked at the same under the same company, different stores. But it depends on what you're trying to do. Like, if you're just starting out and you want to buy something for your son, or if you're someone who's just getting started, they just want to learn how to do it, just get into the rhythm of placement and how to play drums and everything, you could get away with buying a $300 kit and then adding on to that, like you said, the skins will make it sound better and stuff like that. And also, one of the main factors is that these kids that start out, maybe they start out and they're all, they're all motivated to learn and everything like that, but then after a while that kind of fades away, and then they start getting involved with football or girls or whatever, and they kind of thought they would be interested in it, but after a while they realize they're not that interested. So it's better that you only put $300 into that rather than $2,000 or something like that. So as far as just beginning, just learning how to play the drums, I would say unless money isn't an issue for you, you should probably go with the cheaper one.
I agree 100%. I've actually had a groove percussion kit from a church that just sounded terrible. And I took, at the time, Evans just came out with hydraulic heads. I don't know if they just came out with it, but it was new to me.
That's the one with the oil?
Yeah, it's the one with the oil in there. And they made the tom sound good.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised at how cheap this kit was and how good this tom sound for the price that was paid for it.
Yeah.
So definitely for a beginner drummer, I think that drummer, it sucks when you're rich and you get the opportunity to buy these really expensive kits, because I think a person that buys a cheap kit and develops their skills and then finds their passion for whatever they buy, and then at the point where they actually improve from going from like beginner to intermediate and they actually excel, then it's time to upgrade. I think with your skills you should upgrade.
Yeah.
I definitely think that. If not, I think a lot of kids that just go into the store and because their parents have money for a $5,000 kit, they'll get like that $5,000 DW, but what if they don't have a passion for it?
Yeah.
Then you have a $5,000 kit just sitting in the kid's room and you just wasted a bunch of money. I'm pretty sure they don't care, but I think it would show initiative for the person practicing. It doesn't have to be a kid, it could just be whoever.
Yeah. I think it also makes a difference if you're just trying to learn how to play drums or if you're trying to play out and record with them. Because if you're trying to record and play out with them, like buying a more expensive kit is going to sound better most of the time if you tune it up correctly. Whereas if you know you're never going to record with the kit and you know you're never going to take it out to a show, it really doesn't matter because you're just trying to get the movements right, So
Right.
Yeah. I just knew from a quality perspective, I used to work with like a lot of really hard hitting drummers from the from the church, you know, and like sometimes they just want to buy the real basic, you know, kind of bottom of the barrel stuff, and then I would tell them like, guys, it's not gonna work for you. I mean, you're gonna destroy this in a day. You're gonna waste your money, you know. So sometimes I would lean towards something that's a little bit more on the intermediate end of the spectrum, or even more on the high end spectrum, depending on the player, the caliber of the player, or like you said, what they're using it for. Like church, that's like it's basically like a pretty big gig every Sunday, and rehearsals and stuff. Like that drum set's gonna get abused, man.
Yeah, a lot of uses.
Yeah, and plus, a little bit more higher quality kits or more expensive kits or name brand kits, they have much more of a resale value.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So if you decide, like, let's say, for the kid who's just starting out, it's like do you want to buy like something that's not gonna hold up? Maybe not even sound that great. Maybe it's not gonna do it's not gonna have the inspirational qualities of a better kit. When you hit it, it's gonna go boom, and you're like, yeah. I want to play this.
You notice
as opposed
that.
to da.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you notice that sometimes.
I like sound. I like good sound.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, when you're playing a drum set that just sounds better, you want to play it more.
I mean, yeah.
That's just
like when you get like a brand new snare head, and you're like, oh, what? And you like, you look at that. This happens to me with like sneakers all the time. Like as soon as I get new sneakers, I'm like, I can't believe I was wearing these rags for like months. Like when you get like a brand new set of heads, you're like, oh, you're like, oh, yeah. I want to change my heads every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people do. Not me.
Really? Yeah, I was gonna say who people
on
do
tour.
That? They change it for every gig.
Every show.
Every show.
Sometimes every show.
Wow.
I was reading about a lot of engineers who change their heads sometimes after like every couple takes.
No.
I think it's personally. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that
I mean,
crazy.
to be honest with you, I've had my drum heads on my kit for going on 2 years now.
Yeah.
And they sound great. That's
all that matters. It's the sound, really.
And some people prefer like a little bit more of like a focused sound. But there's something to be said about new heads. They just kind of, I like the coating. It feels good. It looks nice.
Yeah.
Look is a part of it too.
That's true.
Lighting,
of course.
Lighting makes a big difference.
You're spending all that money on it. You want it to be exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many factors in what makes a kit, what makes a good kit, and sometimes it's price, sometimes it's quality, sometimes it's image, sometimes it's brand loyalty. I have brand loyalty.
I do too.
Yeah. What are your brand loyalty?
Well, I'd like all my cymbals to be Zildjian, even though I have one crash that I like, that's Sabian. I don't know why I do that though.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'm the same way.
That. I'm like, everything needs to be in unison. If this is Zildjian, that has to be Zildjian. Mm-hmm. My drum set is Tama. I can't have like a Sonar floor tom or something. I don't know. It's just maybe it's mental. It doesn't have to be that way. It's just mental. I don't know. Maybe because I always see these other guys have everything in unison, like because they're sponsored or whatever. So I feel, even though I'm not sponsored, I feel like I should have everything in unison.
Maybe to get sponsored, you have to have
it, right?
I mean, to keep everything feng shui, right?
Yeah. What are your brand loyalties?
I love. Well, it's usually what you start with, and usually what you grew up with. Mm-hmm. But I love Yamaha drums. It's like my favorite drums.
The oak, right?
I have the Stage Custom, which is like a mahogany birch. Falcata wood. That's it's like a mixed wood.
Yeah.
I love Evans heads.
Yeah.
I just like the Evans coated. I mean, the Remo coated is great too.
I'm always going back and forth between Evans and Remo.
Yeah, it's like different.
Still
it's
love
like
their snare heads. I don't know why. It's just a classic snare.
It's different flavors. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
And then Sabian cymbals, I've always liked. I don't know what it is. Maybe because some of my favorite heroes played Sabian, or I find that they have like a little bit of a, they I don't know. I guess they are a little brighter and they cut. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why people don't like them.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's just preference. It just comes down to preference. What about you?
Well, as far as drums are concerned, I'm a huge DW fan.
Oh,
so
yeah.
My wallet doesn't allow me to, so
PvP.
exactly. I stick with I'm Pacific. PDP, whatever. And so I noticed that pasty are my favorite cymbals also. And as far as like skins and everything, I was a huge Evans guy, but now I'm an Aquarius guy.
Oh,
Aquarian is awesome. I
Dude.
have their bass drum heads are really good.
The super kick.
Yeah,
The super kick, yeah.
I just so happened to get one for a snare, and I noticed the difference was like night and day. And I was like,
Which one are you using? The high energy with the black with the coated with the black ring.
yes, and it
And
has
the clear?
the dot in the middle. It's not clear. It has the power stroke.
Yeah.
is
Power
Remo,
stroke
right?
is Remo.
Yeah, the high energy dot, power dot, or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
Has
it has a
internal
dot.
muffling.
Does
Like-
not. No.
Oh, okay. It's just black rings around the side.
Yeah, it has a black ring around, and then it has it's all coated, and it has a coated dot in the middle.
Yeah.
And I put that on my snare, and it just brought it into a whole new level of awesomeness.
And the durability.
yeah,
Durability on those snare heads are crazy.
yeah,
Because of the dot. You know, that's adding an extra ply on top. If you're always hitting the dot. Some people don't always hit the dot. I mean, I don't either, but that's just still adding the durability to the skin.
Yeah. I play the Evans HD Dry, which is a 2-ply head, and it has a muffling ring, and also has like little holes drilled into
Nice.
the top of the head,
Yeah.
right on the perimeter, on the edge. So you supposedly supposed to get less overtones. But for me, I love it because I can hit hard, and I can tune it down. You can tune it deep.
Yeah.
I like my snares a little deep.
yeah, me too. Yeah,
I use the Remo Emperor, classic Emperor 2-ply
Emperor
heads.
X.
Well, I use the regular Emperor because
Oh,
the
yeah,
Emperor
Emperor.
X is just a little thicker,
Yeah.
so I don't
That's
get that
super thick.
sensitivity. But the regular Emperor, I just love it because it's super sensitive.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even go down 1-ply to the regular Remo Ambassador.
Oh yeah.
Now the
Can't go
Ambassador I love because for some reason that head I get the most projection.
Yeah.
Most projection and the most sensitivity, but that's because it's a 1-ply head.
And you're getting more overtones.
And you're getting more overtone.
Which, those contribute to the
Yeah.
Those contribute to the.
So between those two heads, I could just never get off of those. I used to get Evans reverse dot. I used to
Oh,
love
yeah.
those.
Yeah.
And I
I
used
used
to
to
have
love
the
those too.
ST Super Drive with the holes on the side too.
Yeah.
But that muffled it like a lot. So now all I do is I stick to the Remo Ambassador and the Emperor, and I just use
Classic.
the moon gels if I wanted to mute the overtone, and I could tighten it. I just love those. It's just so simple to use.
yeah.
And it's super sensitive. The ghost notes, they come out really loud. So I love those.
Have you guys ever messed with the fat snare? It's like basically it's a piece of plastic that you
Oh, yeah, I have
throw on
one.
top of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Is that the ring?
It's
It's not a ring. It's like
it looks like a head you throw on
it
there.
looks
but
like
it's
a
like
head.
it has a little bit of a weight to it.
Mhm.
And as soon as you put it on the snare head, it'll just bring the pitch down.
and it completely deads the resonance of the drum.
Okay.
But it makes it literally sound fat, like it says, like a fat drum,
Yeah,
which is really cool.
that's
That
cool.
70s, I love that 70s deep. Bah,
Yeah,
bah.
like you
Yeah.
put it. It sounds like you put a shirt on it or something.
Yeah, or
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
yeah,
Like a wallet is like the other trick people do.
yeah, yeah.
I have a wallet in the studio here that like just has like basically every business card that I get, and I just stuff it in there. So when somebody needs like the wallet snare and they don't want to take out their wallet
Yeah.
or whatever,
It's like a weight.
it's kind of like a here, I got a wallet for you. That's loaded up. for
The
snare."
cards are all the ballast.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy because I had my drum set since 2004, and I could just never replace it. I have a Tama Star Classic Maple.
It's a beautiful
From,
kit.
I love the kit, and it's crazy because I've wanted to upgrade. Well, I shouldn't say upgrade, upsize. I have the jazz configuration, so I have the 10, the 12, and the 14. But I'd love to have at least like a 16-inch floor tom,
Oh, yeah.
something huge.
Yeah.
Well, you can get one.
Yeah, I can get an add-on, but the model that I have is discontinued, so they don't have the
You know, you could do it.
finish.
You could do it. I used to do it all the time. I used to call into Tama, or call into Yamaha, and or Pro was another one, and I would find the finish that it was like a candy apple red. They keep a couple
A record,
barrels
right?
of.
Oh, they have like
of,
old stock.
Yeah, they have old stock, and they'll just wrap they'll wrap the new drums or paint the drums.
Oh, that's awesome.
You
That's
know,
cool.
and if they don't have the exact one, then they'll be like, yeah, this has been replaced by this. It's a tiny little bit brighter or something.
Yeah.
I can get away with it.
yeah, but like you said, they do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Now I have a question for you. Are you an accurate drummer? Does the wear on your heads is it a focused dot, or is it
Is
more
it the
like
size of a quarter?
Yeah.
No.
Or is it like a Rorschach test?
I've
or
never
whatever?
seen a drummer snare head that has literally all the markings in the middle circle.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, it's all there.
Yeah.
Most of my hits are rim shots, especially like when I'm playing live and I'm recording. But for the most part, I have like a circular. It's not a small circle. It's not super accurate. I'm not ever hitting the drum in the same place. I'm only human. I'm not trying to be perfect.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I stay in the same perimeter circle, like in the middle of the drum, or a little bit above where that reverse dot will be on the top.
Yeah. Okay.
How about
You ever see Gavin Harrison's drum set?
No.
From Porcupine
Oh,
Tree?
his is
It's like this big.
Oh, really?
crazy.
I know all the drums.
Like a nickel?
It's like
Super accurate.
like the size of a nickel or a quarter. It's perfect. You know?
Nah,
The center of the drum is really where the drum's gonna resonate the best.
Yeah, for sure. I had a
Oh, people will argue with me about that.
nah. I don't know what you'd call it. It's like a piece of plastic that has like the center cut out, and it's to dampen the sound of the snare. And so it looks like I'm keeping it in this circle part, but all my other toms, they have dents up on the top, bottom. Like I am not accurate whatsoever. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys, because I'm super guilty of this, and I just need to know if I'm the only person that does this. When I go to a Guitar Center or I go to a Sam Ash, I completely pass the cheap section and I go to the most expensive section of the store.
Of course.
You do that too? Okay, I thought I was the only one.
No.
I'm like, I'm going to all the high-end stuff now. I'm not going to any of the low-end stuff now. It doesn't have any... I don't think it has anything to do with my ability. I just do it.
No, but you know what? It totally does. Because you have a discerning ear now. And you've been playing for so many years that I mean, really not to say that a cheap cymbal, or inexpensive cymbal, won't sound good or have its purpose.
Yeah.
But like you like the quality, you like something that has a little bit more complexity, and not tinny,
I agree. But I think also at the same time, like if I'm looking for a specific sound, like for example, Wuhan, China. So are you familiar with Wuhan?
Love Wuhan.
Yeah.
Wuhan is great,
I have
right?
a whole set, yeah.
20
They're
bucks.
super cheap. Every time I want a
Kill
China
it.
now, I just want to get the Wuhan China because I want it to sound like trash.
I have two of them.
So
I
good.
want it to sound terribly trashy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the place you go to get the terribly trashy
I think they
sounding
nailed
Chinas.
it.
Yeah.
dude.
So I love Wuhan. But like say I was looking for a snare that sounded like a really cheap snare. Like a cheap... Like you ever hear those reggae albums and it sounds like they're hitting a snare that just sounds like crap? But they mix it really good. And yeah, right?
The trash can lid?
Yeah, like the trash
yeah,
can
yeah.
lid.
It's cool.
Like that, for those specific things, now I learned not to just skip the cheap section of the store, like, and go into the expensive side, because I can find those specific sounds that I'm looking for in the cheap section.
Yeah.
So why go to the expensive section when I can buy it in the cheap section?
Absolutely right. I'm glad you brought up Wuhan because I'm a huge Wuhan fan. I have a Crash my hi-hats are
The
all
Crash is
Wuhan.
good too.
Dude, the Crash is one of the best sounding and people ask me like, what is that? And it's just it's really great.
washy, right?
Yeah. And I love the decay, it's great. But
clean.
the thing is, they're very fragile. So I mean, like I rip through the ride, or it's a Crash ride, but I rip through that and the Crash cymbal in probably 6 months.
Wow.
So I mean,
They're gonna say 10 minutes.
yeah, right.
Well, I mean,
The hi-hat still
at least you're not
lasts,
paying $600.
but that's the thing. You
Yeah,
can also
like freaking
get
K-Custom. I'd cry if I cracked my K-Custom.
oh yeah, that's like a small motorcycle.
And you really, and you really can't like do much. You can't when the cymbal's cracked. I mean, you're just gonna play it till it can't be played anymore. But you can't really like repair it.
No, I'm so paranoid about seeing, in the middle of it where you have like that one.
The little
ring
line
that-
fracture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super paranoid about seeing bed bugs in my room and cracks on my cymbal. Equally
Two of your biggest fears.
terrified. And also having mayonnaise on my food that I didn't ask for. It'll make me vomit. No joke. Yeah.
By the way, Joe's a chef, so he's really
Little-
he's really picky about food.
Refined. Yeah.
As we're finding out.
I have a refined palate.
Yeah.
No.
I don't.
Now, so say you went to the cymbal room,
Gas station.
which is like every drummer's place to go when they
Yeah.
go into the
Yeah.
Jam Master Guitar Center.
It's our church.
And you found a cymbal that was $100 that sounded amazing.
Yeah.
But the brand that you love has a cymbal that's 4 times more expensive. And it, like, how do you pick between the two? So you have the $100 cymbal that sounds exactly the same as the $400 cymbal.
Yeah.
The $400 cymbal is just the brand that you support. Now, how are you choosing between those two cymbals?
I get the $100 one because you know what I mean. Like if there's no or if there's even if there's a slight difference, but it's not too noticeable, and it's a brand that I know won't shatter immediately, I'll go with the $100 one because I'm not one of those dudes that really cares about how I look or what people see when I have my kit set up. Like I'm there just purely for the sound. So I'm gonna go with that 100 and have no problem.
Especially if you're on a budget.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not buying that $400 system, the
No.
$400 cymbal to be broke for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, for what? Just to have a brand name? Like, there's no benefit really, in my opinion. You know?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I still do it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like an OCD thing, you know.
Yeah.
I want to see the same symbol on all my, on all my
Uniform.
heads.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I'm the same way, but I've opened up in the last few years.
I've been trying to, but I can't.
Yeah.
I'm really anal. Like I like to have like the logos, all straight.
Oh, yeah. Position.
The drummer ADD.
Yeah, they have to be like it has to. I don't know what it is. It's like when things look uniform, I feel like it's more professional. I mean, it's totally irrational.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just the way you personally feel about it.
Yeah, it's just a thing that.
Yeah, it's an extra element of order that you have control.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, everything looks cool. Now we can rock.
Yeah. What do you guys do for sticks? I mean, do you have a preference?
My preference right now, honestly, I used to buy Vic Firth sticks for like $11 a pair.
Yeah.
And I used to go through them so fast.
Shred them, right?
Shred them for the type of music that I used to play, which is progressive rock, hitting the crap out of those drums and cymbals.
Yeah.
So I just started buying Sam Ash sticks.
Yeah.
They have
specials?
Yeah, Sam Ash
those
specials.
Are great.
They have like
Vader.
the 5As,
Yeah.
they have the 5Bs. I just found out they were Vader. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They're like,
They feel the same.
they're factory seconds.
The factory seconds,
Which
but
means
they
you
feel fine.
might have a little wood grain here.
Or
cares?
a little
Well, you're not going to have, it's not going to be pitch paired with the other one.
Yeah.
But they're great sticks.
But I used to go crazy
I love
for
them.
sticks.
Yeah.
I used to get like my favorite drummer's signatures, and then I would have like 100 favorite drummers. I'd be like, I have to get his. I have to get his.
Oh, yeah.
Spending all my money on these sticks. And one of my favorite sticks was the Danny Carey stick.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever tried the Danny Carey
Yeah,
stick?
it's heavy.
It's heavy, but it's a
long.
weird heavy. It's long, and the grip is like tapered in.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
so when you grab the stick, there's a fat part on the top and the fat part on the bottom where you hold it.
Exactly, yeah.
Super cool, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
And the problem is, when you would break those sticks, then you would have to go back to your regular sticks.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather use a 5B stick that I'm using all the time and be accustomed to that everywhere I go, than keep using the Danny Carey sticks, and I break the sticks, and then I would have to get another pair that has a completely different feel. I'd rather have a standard stick.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect my
Proprietary.
playing.
That's the thing too. Like when you buy things that like have like really like super proprietary parts, like where like it's not universal, and you have to get this only works with this. It's like same thing with like drums, even especially with like cheap drums.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't replace parts, and you're like, where am I going to get these parts? I'm going to call a factory in China and say, I bought your set 10 years ago. Can you replace?
It's like buying cars. It's like buying cars in that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Iron Cobra double pedal, and the link that connects the pedal, because that part is so rare, and you can't buy it directly from the factory. You have to buy a secondary.
They're super expensive.
It's freaking $150 just for the metal part that connects to both the double pedals.
I'm surprised people aren't 3D printing those things.
Yeah, right?
They probably will. I mean, I personally, I think everything's going to be 3D printed soon.
Well, if they could 3D print metal.
And
Yeah,
houses.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm
they
saying,
are.
'cause you need the heft of the metal, like,
Yeah.
right? You can't have it plastic.
You can't have plastic.
Yeah.
You'll crack those.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, that was one thing that sold me on the Yamaha stuff is like the Yamaha rep was telling me, he's like, you know, the Yamaha hardware is made in the motorcycle machine shop.
Oh, nice.
And I was like,
that's awesome.
that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so I'm like, okay, I have to have it.
Yeah. In regard to sticks, there were two signature series Vic Firths that I really liked. One was the Omar Hakim sticks.
Yeah.
Those were really good. I had
So
those.
good, so good. And also the ones that recently came out, not recently, but maybe a year or two ago, were the Questlove ones.
Oh yeah,
I've
they're
never
long.
tried
They're
them.
like 7As.
Dude,
They're like super long with the black grip tape. They're
Yeah.
like white. They're like about. Yeah,
it's
they're
it's
really
like my
cool.
purse. I love long and thin sticks, and these had the grips on them. I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. But because they're so thin and because they're so long, they tend to snap in half extremely easily. So,
And they're thin at that.
yeah. So I switched over to the Vader Manhattan 7As,
Oh, those are great.
and those are for me perfect. That's my
Nobody plays the sticks I play.
the ahead, right?
Yeah.
The
I play the Ahead 5AB.
I had those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, you know, I personally love them. I feel like you don't get the shock. I feel they last. I bought maybe 3 pairs 7 years ago.
yeah, right? They never break. So
I mean,
never
like,
break, yeah,
you know,
that's true.
I've broken 2, and when they break, you know, they usually break at a gig because you're hitting way too hard with the rim shots.
yeah.
But when they break, they're still playable.
Yeah.
Because the plastic sleeve is holding the metal
replaceable.
and it's holding the metal together, and the metal's cracked. The
Yeah.
aluminum is cracked,
Yeah.
but the metal's holding it together, so you can finish the gig. It feels a little funny. It feels like a little play,
Yeah.
but you can finish the gig, and then you take out the plastic, and you're like, oh yeah, that's what I was feeling.
I had those
That's
sticks.
broken.
And I felt like I didn't like them because specifically when I hit the drum or when I hit a cymbal, there's a specific flex that real wood has that doesn't have.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like the plastic side, when I love hitting the bell ride, and I need that like
wood.
very hard wood, dense, flexible wood to hit that and get that sound.
Yeah.
But it's all a matter of preference. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of guys that hit hard and a lot of guys that play in like very hard metal bands or not even. I mean, it's all personal preference. You definitely can't use those sticks for jazz though.
Yeah.
Those are way too heavy hitting.
Yeah,
and too
they're
heavy,
really-
yeah.
yeah.
And
They
it's a
make-
nylon bead, so
Yeah.
you can't have
They
a
make-
wood sound.
They make like 7A versions, and they make versions of the bead that like sound like wood. But yeah, there's something to be said about wood sticks. Personally, I don't know, when I play wood sticks these days, I feel the shock. I mean, it could be a technique thing. It could be that I'm just used to the way these sticks feel.
That's what it is.
But like I feel it, and like I know, like with my sticks, I can play for, you know, hours and not feel it. But
Yeah.
with the wood, as soon as, you know, it just might be something I just have to, you know, get back into it. But I do like wood sticks. My favorite wood stick was the Rick Latham ProMark stick. You ever mess with that one?
I've never.
Or
No.
the Vic Firth Peter Erskine ride stick.
No, I've never really had any ProMark sticks, honestly.
ProMark
I think I
sticks are great.
had their.
Very
you know what it
good,
was?
yeah. The glossy, right?
No, you know the ProMark sticks
Regal
that
tips
I had.
are glossy.
That's
Yeah,
something
Regal
that-
tip
yeah.
is glossy. When I had ProMark sticks way back in the day, I felt like the texture of the wood, like it felt like it could just give you a splinter.
Mm.
Like is it that? You know what I'm
I know
talking
what you're
about? Like
talking
it's
about.
very
The
You're talking
woody.
about the naturals.
natural.
The
Yeah.
naturals. That's what I
Those-
had. The
those-
naturals.
And those get filthy. But people actually like them. They
I
actually
love
prefer
that.
them.
Yeah.
Because you get more grip.
Uh-huh.
My favorite ProMark stick for a long time was the Neil Peart 747. It's like a kind of like a 5B, but it's like really long.
Yeah.
I love the Shirakashi oak sticks.
Dude, those oak ones are amazing.
Yeah,
they're
they-
very durable. The only thing I don't like is the tips are like that oval.
Yeah,
And
the
I-
bead
I-
tips always sound the best, like the ball tips.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are the
those
ones
are the
that.
ones I
Those are the
like,
ones that sound the best. That's why I love like the Rick Latham and the Peter Erskine ride stick is just like a tiny little ball.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
oak is way lighter than the hickory, right?
No, the oak's
Oh,
actually
heavy.
heavier.
Yeah.
Very
Heavier?
heavy.
Yeah.
Oh,
now
yeah.
the heaviest stick that I've ever seen, and my friend swears by it, the Mike Mangini, the Zildjian Mike Mangini birch sticks. They are so heavy, and as soon as I play them, I go, oh, I can't play these. The shock.
Yeah.
My friend, he loves them. he goes, oh, that's the stick.
Yeah.
These things, you can
Like
hammer
marching
nails
band-
with these sticks.
Marching band snare sticks.
Yeah.
Those things are heavy as hell.
If
Yeah.
I could have an ideal stick, it would be that oak from ProMark with that natural finish, but the Manhattan 7A shape and size.
You gotta call some drum companies.
Yeah, right. I gotta make them, right, man? Like,
you gotta make some calls.
yeah.
And get a Joe Riley signature.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
actually, there's a famous drummer named Joe Riley.
I know there's a guitarist named Joe Riley.
Yeah, there's a famous drummer. He's like a jazz drummer.
Really?
But you gotta.
You sure it's not me? No.
Fight
I'm
him.
kidding.
You should fight him, and
Yeah, that's how it has
Win.
to happen. We have to fight to the death.
I think you can take him.
Yeah, right. That's just how drummers work. You can't have two with the same name.
Yeah. Well, what was a really weird stick? The guy from Seven Dust, Morgan Rose. You ever
Yeah,
see his
Morgan
stick?
Rose.
No.
It's like
He had the alien freak stick.
yeah, alien
So,
freak
yeah.
sticks.
Mhm.
No taper. It's like a tree trunk. It's just,
Oh god.
Yeah, it's like a timbali stick.
Timbali, yeah.
but it's fat.
Mhm.
Yeah. Some drummers flip their sticks around and they play with the
skinny
taper
side.
in their hands, and
That's
they use
insane.
the butt end. They use the butt end to hit.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I guess it's a specific sound they're looking for, or maybe they're just comfortable with
I
that.
mean, I play
Yeah.
traditional, and people go like, "Why?" And I go like, "I don't know. Feels good."
No, there's nothing wrong with playing
You know,
traditional.
it's like a
Yeah.
matter of what you, a matter of
What you
what's
like.
comfortable.
Exactly.
You know,
There's no right or wrong way, I guess. Yeah.
you know, and that's the best part about art. There's no right or wrong in art. There's no rules. You know, as long as you can do your job and be be the best player you can be and progress and enjoy yourself while playing.
Yeah.
Who cares how you do it?
I agree.
Jimi Hendrix played his guitar upside down, lefty.
Yeah.
With, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he took a righty and he
Yeah.
played it lefty.
You know how many people probably tried to correct him on his way up to being famous, and he said, "No, fuck you guys. This is
Yeah.
how I'm playing it."
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
He
Totally.
invented his own style. But I
Yeah.
mean, I'm pretty sure there was other lefty guitarists.
Oh yeah, no, he's not the only one for sure.
Yeah.
But
See-
as far as like playing things the way they should be done, like so
See, what's weird about Jimi Hendrix is that he took a righty guitar
yeah,
and he made it lefty. So instead of he just changed the strings really. So instead of the knobs being on the bottom, the knobs are on the top.
yeah,
It's just weird.
yeah.
It's
He
a
didn't
weird
have a
look.
lefty guitar. Yeah,
I've
and
seen
the strings were upside down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It upside down. It's weird the way he plays chords, but I guess he just got used to it that way.
Yeah.
I know a weird drummer. I've seen some very weird drum setups. So there's this guy. He plays a tramp kit. His name is Daryl Jones, and his snare drum would be in front of him. But you know how like we either play it flat or a little tilted towards us.
Yeah.
His is flat this way.
Whoa.
So-
Like Buddy Rich.
Yeah, Buddy Rich
Yeah,
does
Buddy
that too.
Rich would play like that, but his is an extreme lean.
His is
like it'll probably
it's like
be like
this.
this flat.
It's like this. And I
That's
mean,
a lot.
And when he's playing traditional grip. 'cause
Okay,
you
that makes
have no-
sense.
Yeah, you can't play that in
Yeah, you can't-
regular match
yeah.
grip.
Yeah.
So you have to play traditional grip, so it's like this way, and he's like,
Wow.
which is really cool. And the floor tom is right behind that, and it has to be really low to the ground because he has to. So,
I'm confused.
yeah, I'll show you a picture.
Yeah.
It's very weird, but it's awesome to look at because you can see the drums.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can see the skins of the drums while looking at him play, and everything is like right here, and he has to like hunch over a little bit to hit the toms, and he has the floor tom. It's really cool.
You got to put a picture of that on the stream, right? Like
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
corner,
definitely.
Oh
like-
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. He sent me the picture, and the first thing I said was, well, I thought it really made sense from an ergonomics perspective.
So it's like
But I'd be worried that the drums would just fall down. like
Yeah.
the tom's like, oh,
Yeah.
because
the
I mean,
snares hanging.
that happens to
right?
me all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be anal about setting up and tightening everything, but like in a show, I'm like hitting. Where'd the cymbal go?
Yeah.
The floor tom legs, give it up, hold it up. There's all like tricks you have to do.
Yeah, no, I know, dude. The worst with me is the bass drum sliding.
I know.
Happens all. I have a size 15-foot,
Whoa.
and I guess I'm just.
You probably
smashing
just
it.
like pushing the bass drum with your foot.
That might be what it is, honestly, dude.
One of the oldest tricks in the book, though.
Tying the thing around the throne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your own weight is preventing the thing from
Yeah,
sliding.
that's the way to do it.
That's
And
really
it's
smart.
I remember this guy. This guy told me he was like one of these older cats. He's like, you never saw this trick, and I'm like, No, but it makes so much sense.
Right?
You know, it's like, wow, that's so easy.
I'm sorry, but we're super off the topic.
Oh yeah,
Podcast.
cheap gear.
Like, cheap gear versus expensive gear.
You can't talk to drummers about gear and not
I know,
expect
right?
them to not go up.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's random anyway.
I'm sorry, but
Go ahead.
hardware.
Hardware.
Does it matter?
To me
Matters
personally,
to me.
it does not.
Same. Except for the bass drum or the kick pedal.
Yes, those. So there's only two hardwares that are very important to me, and that's the pedal and the hi-hat.
Yeah.
Because I want that hi-hat to have that spring.
For sure.
Make sure that it's steady, so that way when I'm pressing the hi-hat, it's not sliding around, and it has that hefty weight to it. For crash cymbals, it doesn't matter if the legs spread. That sounds so wrong.
It keeps it off the ground. Yeah.
If the legs could get wide enough to hold its grip on the floor,
Yeah.
and it won't. I'm trying to make this sound as clean as possible. So basically, if the legs are wide enough to keep that, come on,
If it penetrates the
yeah.
and you can hold it in place.
All right, listen.
If it has a wide grip and it can hold the cymbal and it doesn't move, that's all I really care about.
I don't know if the
That's
camera's
it.
going to pick this up, but I want to show you something that the Yamaha guy showed me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You gotta watch this lavalier, but
Can you
this is
grab that and bring it over?
this is one thing that he showed me. With the Yamaha mounts, you can spin this all day, and it won't come off until you lift it.
What are you spinning?
See this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think that camera's
That's
dead.
cool, but
But
that really doesn't matter to me. Like I could do care less about that.
I know.
honestly.
No, but you know what? It's these little stupid things.
I don't even keep my nuts on
Okay.
on the thing.
You don't keep your nuts with the legs
This is a
open?
terrible conversation.
Yeah.
No, but like that.
But I see
that's
a little
It's a
technicality.
stupid convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, I can't live without.
Really? What's the benefit of that?
When you're playing live, and you have to break down and set up, and you break down, and I just spin them. I spin them all real fast, and then I lift.
You don't want them to fly off.
They're
when
not
you
gonna
do
fly
it.
off.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
That it's specifically designed that has like a little taper. It's designed that it'll never fly off.
That makes
And
sense.
it's something stupid.
Yeah.
I don't even put mine on.
I like to put them on because I feel like the cymbals bounce.
I like that
Yeah.
bounce because when I'm riding the crash, I don't want any limitations for it to like stop at a point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so used to the weight of my cymbal, I know exactly when it's gonna come back to me. So if I put the nut on and it's pressing it too hard, it might just flex a little bit and then come back.
I've had
I like the full flex.
I've had
Yeah.
some playing issues with that though, personally.
Mhm.
Like where I've hit it and not expected the bounce, and the bounce has literally knocked the stick in my hand,
Hey.
and that's
wow.
no fun.
Okay.
I mean, but I guess it depends on
It depends on the
on your
person.
playing and what
Yeah.
you expect. You know, so I usually, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for every gig, I always bring sleeves, felts, and wing nuts of two different sizes, 8mm and 6mm.
I
You don't know
always
what the
bring-
hell they're gonna have.
Definitely
Yeah.
sleeves.
And I'm not gonna have my cymbals get keyholed at a gig, especially a dive.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one to me, the one most important thing of having a cymbal stand is that felt with the plastic in the middle of the hole of the cymbal, so that way there's no metal to metal contact.
Yeah. You're
That's
absolutely
really
right.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Definitely.
don't want it to be touching the stand.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You know, it's like you pay, sometimes upwards of $100, $200 for cymbals. Like, do you really want it to get keyholed on one gig because you didn't have the sleeves?
Yeah, right.
What is keyhold?
Keyhold is
It's a crack in the keyhole.
is when the center of the
Has a crack.
well, it's like it's not only just a crack, but it's actually like it's not round anymore. It's like
Warped.
It's like it's warped and it,
Gotcha.
because the metal's rubbing against it, and it does affect the sound.
Yeah.
and it affects the placement. I mean,
Oh, I bet.
these are little anal things that drummers think.
No, that's
about.
not.
But that's
little.
really important.
That's-
yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's huge.
big. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know, we had some nice cymbals coming to the shop. They were like old A's and stuff. Couldn't take them.
Because of the
Keyholes.
keyholes. Yeah.
So once that happens, the cymbal can't be repaired.
Nah, cymbals can't really be repaired.
They can to a certain extent.
They
I
just
used
sound
to go,
different.
Yeah, if
gotta
you
relave it.
this is the problem.
Yeah,
if you
you can
repair a
relave- yeah, I
cymbal,
guess.
like for example, I used to go to a guy in the city. Every time I cracked a cymbal, if it was a little crack at the edge, he could carve that out. But it would completely change the sound of the cymbal.
Yeah.
So it's like getting a brand new cymbal. And not only that, what if you hit the cymbal and you hit that little groove that he created? That's so weird. It's not fully round.
I saw a small hairline crack in one of my cymbals. So what I did is my dad's
see it
trick,
from here.
and it makes sense. Yeah, it's my dad's trick, but he's like just drill a hole, right
At the end of
the
each crack. Yeah, that's a
so
trick.
now it's not gonna crack anymore. So and I don't know. I actually like the way they sound because they don't have the
doesn't ring as much.
Yeah, the decay is better. So it's like, psh,
Yeah.
psh. It's not like psh, and it's
ringing
ringing all the mics and stuff. So for the studio, it kind of works.
Yeah.
But it definitely changes the sound.
So for hardware, you are big on hardware. So so are you saying that it has to be heavy based, sturdy? It can't be anything cheap. So if you had a $20 stand that could hold your cymbal, opposed to a $100 stand that could hold your cymbal, that's way heavier in metal. That's a big difference to you?
I just find that the more inexpensive stands, they strip or whatever, So from like a best bang for your buck or like a durability sense, like in the long run, it doesn't pay. Like I've had my Yamaha stands forever, and I bought another set that I keep for the road, and it's just great.
It's weird that I'm disagreeing with you, but I have really expensive hardware.
DW
really do.
9000.
It's crazy.
Double
$200 a stand.
But I'll tell you why I have expensive hardware. My bass drum has no holes, so I can't mount my toms on my bass drum. So I need a sturdy stand to hold my tom because it's mounted.
Version bass drum.
Oh,
right. I have rack mounted toms, so all my
Gotcha.
toms have no holes. The bass drum has no holes.
What do you guys think about that? Because I personally, I mean, I know it's supposedly supposed to sound better, and it does, but I like the convenience of having the mount.
The convenience of having the mount is definitely better.
I'll
But
sacrifice a little.
if you're not moving your set, like me,
Oh,
I don't bring
for
my
home
set
it's
out.
great.
We play gigs. They supply us with.
But for the studio, imagine me. For every setup, the guys are using clamps and trying to make it work. It'd be hell.
I know.
Some people
That
get
is true.
around that by having that
The rack.
bar or the rack. Yeah.
The rack. I was thinking, when I first opened the studio, I was like, oh yeah, let me, get a rack. But then I was thinking, the rack is good for if it's just me,
Yeah.
because everything's in its place.
Yeah.
But for if I have a rotating cast of drummers, it's like everything has to have its own mount and just be free. And
Yeah, people are gonna move it all around.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
regardless of what you have, though, it's always going to be adjusted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I come here sometimes and I'm like, I play just
Why does
snare.
Josh play like this?
No, it's not even that. You play your
What
snare
was he
super low.
thinking?
You do play your snare super low. But like, I'm just a trap player.
I keep my hi-hat really high too.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I love that too.
Yeah.
But like, I only play mostly snare, high tom, floor tom. That's my standard kit. For years I was using that, but before that I was using 3 toms instead of 2. But now my standard kit is, instead of having my ride on the side of the toms, like outside, it's in between the high tom and the floor tom, so it's easier to navigate, and I got super used to that. So I come here and I'm like, I want to do that, but I just don't want to go through the trouble. I know. But I'm like,
That's
I
what
just
it's
don't
there
want
for, man.
I don't want to go through the trouble of taking the toms off, even though it's more convenient because you have it, on the mount.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm gonna just leave it.
But one thing about this kit that I really liked when I bought it was that it had a 10, 12, 13, 16. So for a standard rock kit, 12, 13, 16, I have it. For a Fusion Plus, 10, 12, 16, I have it. For a guy who wants to play a 10 and a 16 or even a 10 and a 13, he can do it, or she can do it. It's it's I liked it because I have a lot of options. Or for the metal guys, 10, 12, 13, 16, but like when I play 4-piece.
Yeah.
Even like for sessions and stuff. But sometimes you gotta have. Sometimes guys want to have the toms go around your head. You're playing thrash metal or heavy metal and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you need it.
The
Extra
double
sounds.
rack, like up on the top and around
The
behind
Mangini
you,
drums, the octagons, or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
gong
Octobots
behind
all
you.
day.
Yeah.
People say a Neil Peart's kit is big, but everybody knows Terry Bozio's
Terry
kit
Obazio.
is his kit is the hugest, and also Mike
He is
Portnoy.
Yeah, Mike
Talk about
Portnoy.
toys.
No, that's
Yeah.
small compared to Terry Bozzio.
Yeah,
still.
it's true.
Terry Obazio's kit. Terry Bozzio, he has I think they counted how many symbols he has, and it's like almost 100 symbols.
And they're all Chinas.
Chinas,
They're all Chinas.
tons of splashes,
Yeah, there's no crashes. There's no
tons
ride.
of weird.
No hats. Wait,
No,
maybe
No hats?
he has two hats.
got-
He has two
Yeah,
hats.
he's got it.
But he has like 3 bass drums, and all of his toms are tuned diatonically, which means they're tuned to scale. So he can go like he can play melodies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
he's
a
weird
question
cat.
for you guys. What do you think about having the hi-hat and then the second hi-hat mounted? What
A dummy hat.
Yeah.
I like that, but I mean that's only if I'm playing double kick. Honestly, I have parts of certain songs where I have to switch and play double kick and have the hat closed.
Yeah.
And I have a drop clutch, but I don't like using it. It's very inconvenient to use a drop clutch while you're playing parts.
Do you accidentally hit it sometimes?
I don't accidentally hit it, but for me to switch the part and then take my hand and then drop the clutch and then go back to the double pedal, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. So I just try to replace those parts.
I
It's like
always
a clumsy
keep my,
move, right? Yeah.
I always keep my hi hats really close together,
I don't.
especially for tracking.
I don't because I like to, you know.
Yeah.
I like to ride the hi hat with my foot. But
I don't do that a lot.
What I would do though is something, which is something that I'm gonna add to the kit, is instead of having a second hi hat, I'm gonna have a stack.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
You know what
yeah.
a stack is? Like
Yeah, just like it's always closed, right?
it's always closed, but it's too like it sounds really nasty. It's like a muted China almost.
Okay. And it doesn't have to be hi-hats. It could just be
It
like,
doesn't. It could be any stack of any two cymbals
Yeah.
that sounds. It doesn't have to sound bad, but I like the bad, trashy sounding
Yeah.
stacks. And it's just like, ch. It doesn't sound like a hi hat. It sounds like trash.
Yeah.
But it's a good trash.
Yeah.
Like,
You ever see Zach, Zach Hill?
no.
Drummer of Hella? You know Zach
Oh,
Hill?
yeah.
He has a monster Frankenstein stack, which is just like pieces of old cymbals, just like all the broken cymbals just stacked on top of each other. And there's like 4 or 5 of them, and it sounds crazy. It's like, hush, hush, hush.
Yeah, I love that sound.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that sound. So eventually that's going to be part of my new setup, but
That's cool.
I don't think I want an extra hat there. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
that's the thing, you don't
How
need
often
that.
am I going to use it? I'm
Yeah.
not going to use it.
I
Just
want
for,
as little as possible.
yeah,
Yeah.
as little as possible.
I want to bring as little as possible. I was even thinking about not bringing a rack tom, but
Yeah.
I need a rack tom.
You need one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just one.
You ever see the guys that have the hi-hat that's done through that wire?
The cable hats.
The cable hats.
Oh yeah, that's what they use for the second hat.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they have another pedal, which also doesn't make any sense to me. But
Yeah, 'cause
I
if
guess people.
I
use
actually
it.
sold it to a guy who was a left-handed drummer who played righty, but he could never get the hi-hat working the way he wanted. So I said, "You need a cable hat." He goes, "What is that?" I said, "You'll have the pedal where you want it, but you have the hats, you know." So he had a pedal here and the hats here, and he goes, "Josh, you just made." He goes, "You changed my life with this thing."
Yeah.
He goes like, "This is how I wanted to play hi-hat for years with this foot in this hand." It's weird.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
how I
right?
feel like how some people view that. It's either like life changing, like oh my god, it's great, or like unnecessary and it's useless.
Well, there's so much gear that you go like if you go to the music shop and you see like there's so much gear that's trying to revolutionize things. It just doesn't take off.
Yeah,
And it's crazy expensive.
But there's some.
Yeah.
It's like $60 for this thing, and you're like, why?
There's
What?
still gear that I want to get that was just invented. It's a felt that basically snaps in the keyhole. So it snaps in the keyhole
I
of
have
the cymbal,
one. I probably have them for you.
and it just stays
the
there.
cymbal. They're called cymbal.
Cymbals. So when you take the cymbal off of the stand, it takes the actual felt and the plastic part with it,
Oh, dude,
I
and it
that's
just
genius.
stays there. Yeah,
I gotta get one of those.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
It just stays right there, and I
On the
want to get
cymbal.
that on the cymbal. It
That's
snaps in.
Yeah.
It has a felt in it on both sides, and it just stays in place. And you put it in your cymbal bag, it takes no place because it's really slim.
Exactly, it's on there. Yeah.
So when you go to a gig, you don't have to worry about putting felts and putting the plastic piece. So that's really cool. That's something that I want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I play hi hats like this.
You play open-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're
And
a lefty?
So I play hi hat, snare.
Are you a lefty though? Because most lefties play hi hat with their left hand.
Yeah, I'm ambidextrous, but I write with my left hand.
Oh, okay. So you're a lefty.
Wow,
Yeah.
you're right with your left hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, I noticed you played open-handed. I didn't realize you were like you were a lefty.
I'm an official lefty.
Yeah.
But I
You
don't.
can get a scholarship for that, you know.
Do you cut your
Just for being
steaks
a
with
lefty.
like your left hand?
It's true.
I have the fork in my left hand, knife in the right.
That's so weird.
That's where they
Actually-
are normally, though. I thought I didn't know this
Yeah.
until like a
Talking about
couple
steaks.
years ago that people switch their fork and knife. Like that blew my mind. I was like, I had no idea that was going on. Like, but I don't like to cross when I play drums. If I'm doing the ride, I'll keep it with this hand and snare. If I'm doing like I'll just never cross my hands.
That's
know,
crazy that you could switch like
I
that.
think that's
Yeah.
actually better. I can't cross now. I mean, I have to cross. I can't not cross because
Yeah.
traditional grip. I'm not gonna play the hi hats like this.
Yeah, you
Exactly,
can't. It's
yeah.
uncomfortable.
I'm gonna.
And I'm just
Yeah,
so
how do you
used to
do
my
that?
right hand being on top of the hi-hat.
Oh, well, you know what?
Yeah,
I could do. I could put the hi hats on this side.
the cable.
See, it all comes full circle in the end.
Yeah,
All right, so we talked about hardware,
Mhm.
right? So you like heavy-duty hardware. Everything matters to you.
Yeah.
And to me and Joe, it's
I'm
just
very picky.
well, to me it's the pedals and the hi-hat stand. For you, it's
just the kick.
Just the kick.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and for drums,
Drums, Yamaha drums.
Yamaha drums, but like, is the quality matters to you, of course, because you record people
Yeah.
on the kit. So
Well, you know what? I have to say that there's certain differences. You know, when you have a pro kit, like my kit's not a high end kit. It's a stage custom from like the 2000s. But like when you have a pro kit, the tuning range is really expanded. You know, like I know for this particular kit, you know, these heads will have a finite tuning range where they really sing, and that's where I have them at.
Yeah.
You know, but if you have a pro kit, you can tune it super high, cranked for jazz, and it won't choke.
Yeah.
You can have it super low and it won't peter out. You can you know, so I think that when you talk about shells and plies and you know all that really stuff that really only drummers really care about.
Skin technology.
Yeah, skin technology. It does make a difference. But you know
I
what?
agree.
I just know that like for what I have, this kit is great. Everybody loves it, and because I have the heads in the optimal tuning range of those shells.
Yeah.
With a DW, you can basically do whatever you want.
yeah. Well, my kit, I
You
can
know?
do whatever I want, but the wood really does matter.
Well,
It really does matter.
you have a birch.
I have a maple,
Oh.
and it rings. But
It's beautiful.
if I wanted to dead that sound, I can dead the sound.
Different heads.
But if I was looking for a dead sound, I could get a cheap kit and just dead that too. But it just wouldn't ring as good as my maples. So I have a big tuning range, like you said. Like I could do whatever I want with my toms. I can make it sound however I want, depending on the heads I put on there. With the cheap kits, you can't do that.
Yeah.
What do you think about the kits?
Yeah, I mean, again, I love DW, but I personally have a PDP Pacific. The only difference between that is that the DWs are made by hand and they're pitch paired, each ply. The Pacific are manufactured with machines, but it's the same material.
And they're made in Mexico as opposed to Oxnard, California.
Yeah.
But
So-
they sound awesome.
Yeah, they sound great.
That's the thing, man. I
PDP.
love the way they sound. And
They sound great.
That's all that matters.
DW
If
for
you're
the
satisfied
price
with
of
what you have, and that's the sound you're looking for.
yeah, when it comes to that basic fundamental price point, where do you want to pay more for the DW or do you want to use the same material, same everything, but the cheaper Pacific? I'll go with the Pacific until I start getting, millions of dollars.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with the Pacific just because I'm getting a great sound, and it's what I need, it's what I want, and if it breaks or something happens, I can always get a new one, and it's not gonna break the bank. So that's just
agree.
my opinion
I
with
agree.
that.
And I think that the biggest difference besides the woods is the hardware that they are attaching to these
Oh
shells.
yeah, especially with the snare.
Yeah,
I-
definitely.
Yeah.
the lugs,
Definitely.
quality of lugs.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like the metal that the lugs are made out of and just the quality of the rings and
Yep. The
I
hoops,
think
yeah,
the hoops, like all that stuff makes a big difference in terms of durability.
without
The
a
cheap
doubt.
stuff doesn't have that. Now, there's nothing wrong with buying the cheap stuff, especially if you're trying to achieve a specific sound. And if you could do that with something cheap, why not?
Yeah.
But in terms of having the most bang for your buck, you are actually paying for what you're getting.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would say so.
Yeah, it does make it. There's no question that it makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's whether that difference is important enough to you to where you'll dish out that extra cash.
Right. All right, so that's hardware.
We've been talking about gear for an hour.
That's
Yeah, dude.
hardware, shells, Jesus Christ. I told you this was going to be a long one.
Got it, man.
So
Well, we can go gear
So-
for. I mean,
I
and
know.
gear changes. We change what we like.
Yeah, yeah. What
So
you
we
like?
could do gear things every week.
Oh.
It'll be different.
Yeah, we'll update it every month,
Yeah.
like different.
skins,
Yeah.
skins, very important.
Uh huh.
Depending on what type of music you play, different skins does different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always go coded now.
Uh huh.
All right, that's fine. Me too. I go coded now too. I just like.
Used to love clear.
I used to love clear,
With,
and now I'm a
dampening?
coded guy. Yeah, I'm a
Can't
coded
do it
guy.
anymore.
Because it dampens a little bit and it has the perfect amount of ring. I love coded
And-
now,
and-
but it's all
warm.
That's preference. That's preference.
Yeah.
You get this
That
low
warm.
end. You get this resonance.
You ever tried the suedes?
Yeah, the suedes
I
are
have
cool.
not
the
tried
black
the suedes.
I never had the black suedes.
The regular suedes.
I had the regular suedes, and those were amazing. In my opinion, I liked them. Yeah.
One thing all people should stay away from is the skins that come with these cheap kits. They're made out of this
Well, the stock
really
heads, they call
the
them.
stock heads. Like if you're buying
Plastic.
a groove percussion or you're buying, I don't know, cosmic percussion or whatever they have now that's super cheap.
Yeah.
Those skins, once you hit
It's
it,
like
they
saran
dent.
wrap.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
dent.
Yeah.
They dent like easily.
It's one of the easiest ways to make a cheap kit sound good. The first thing that'll make the most difference is getting different heads.
Definitely.
Switching out the heads. Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
I think we covered it.
Yeah.
All right.
Symbols. I was gonna ask you guys symbol questions, but damn.
Next episode.
Next episode. All right, guys. Thank you for watching Drummers Debate, episode 4, with Josh Allant, Joe Riley, and myself, Phil Larison. And I'll see you guys next time.
Later.